So when you start a new document, which we've done this process a couple of times by now, so you should be an expert in understanding what exactly you have to do here. First, remember we're working in inches, but again, be considerate about who you're doing this project for, who's going to print it, where will it be printed, to make sure you don't need to work in centimeters or millimeters. That's very important to consider. In the US, most publications work in inches, so we should be fine with that. Now we'll stick to just a basic size today, mainly because I am focused right now on learning or on showing to you what's the difference between facing pages and unfacing pages or non-facing pages. So under orientation, anytime you're working on, let's say maybe a flyer or something that needs to be in a landscape mode, you would click on that option there. For today, we'll just stick to the portrait orientation, and under pages, we'll only do 2. And I am going to unselect facing pages, okay? So the rest of it, I am not really interested in it, but we'll come back to it. So we can just leave 3 columns. We won't touch the gutter and the margins, we'll leave them by default. When I hit create right here, you see how my pages are falling one after the other. Mainly, anytime you're working on a document that only has a front and a back cover, you will unselect those facing pages. So remember that. For instance, if you're doing a brochure or a business card or a wedding invitation, you would mainly have a front cover and a back cover. So that's why you would unselect those that facing pages. Okay, now let's exit this out and let's start a new document, but this time let's have the facing pages on. So again, change picas into inches, 8.5 by 11. This time I'm going to do 8 pages. Okay, I'll select facing pages right here, or I'll start on page 1 and I can leave the rest as it is, and I'll hit create. Let's give it a second. So now if you look on my screen, you see how my pages are arranged in order, but here, starting with page 2 until the very end, I have 2 pages side by side. So it's almost like a center spread, like 3 different center spreads, which are called differently. And today we'll actually learn how they're called in design. So you see page 1 in the beginning here. Okay, so I am assuming you might hear George knocking at my door. And then I have the last page here. Now, anytime you need to view your pages, okay, you would go under window and scroll, click on pages. You see, I unselected it, so mine disappeared from the right side of my screen. So again, you would go window, select pages, and here it gives you just a short overview in thumbnails. It gives your pages in thumbnail size of what you're having. So here's your page 1. Anytime you need to click on a page and find the page to do the layout for, this is the best way to work. Always have pages popped up, and then you just click on that page and it takes you there. So let me double click on it and I am here. This is page number 4 and 5. Double click on page 7 and I'm on page 7. Double click on page 1 and it takes me back there. So that's an easy way for you to find the page that you need to work on. Also, as a separate suggestion, right here on the very bottom, right here, if you see where I'm bringing my cursor, if you click on this arrow, it shows to you how many pages you have and what page you're clicked on. Here's this mark there, and the number of the pages blue is selected. It indicates what page you're clicked on. So let's open it up, and you see I'm clicked on page 3 right now. Then there's this A master, which we're going to talk about in a second. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. If you have any questions, please stop me and let me know. So now that I've mentioned to you what a master is, right here on the top of your thumbnails, you see where I'm bringing my cursor, you have a none option for a page, which I'll explain to you and I'll show to you what that none apply does. And then there is an A master, okay? That A master, I am trying to, okay, let me try to, I want to see my face, but I do not. It's just easier for me when I see myself and I can talk to you. So let's maybe place it there. Okay. Okay, place it here. Okay, so now the A master. The A master is like a sample that you can write anything on these 2 pages, and then anytime you apply those changes, they will be posted or they will be applied on the pages that are following in your document. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. Let's start inserting our page numbers, okay? So anytime you need to work on that, you need to go to your A master. Do not insert page numbers manually. That's just going to be a headache, okay? I know people that do that, but it's just so easy to understand what the A master does. So for the A master, double click on this page and it's going to take you to an A master model. You see, you're only on 2 pages. You don't see your full document. Do you see that? I keep scrolling and I don't see all my new document. The next step that you have to do is click on your type tool and drag a box in a corner where you'd like to place your page number, okay? Which is what I did. Don't type anything in that box. I know sometimes people get confused and they think, okay, I've designed the type box, let me type the page number. No, you do not have to do that. The software will do that for you. This A master is actually going to apply page numbers on the whole document automatically. So then I'm going to type and I'll scroll down to insert special character. Okay, so either take notes of that, or if you have a good visual memory, that's going to be helpful for you to remember. So insert special character, and then you'll scroll to markers. Okay, and under markers, you will say current page number. So let's click on that. And when you click on that, let me zoom in. Look, it's weird. It just inserted a capital A letter. It's not a page number. It actually is a page number, but you don't see it because we're not on our document yet, which I'll show to you in a second. Now, the next thing that it would be smart for you to do is select this page number, okay, and apply any changes you want it to have. Decide on the font size, the font style, the font color. So let's decide on that. Let me click on my character formatting style. Let me select the font style. I'll do April. I'll do 10 points. Okay, I see somebody, okay. Okay, so I'll do 10 points for that. And then I am going to place this on the very bottom, okay, on the very bottom of my page. So let me bring it down, use your arrows, zoom in, make sure you've placed it perfectly there. Perfect, okay? So here's my page number for this page. Then I'm going to select this box and I'll do Command C. I'll zoom out and I'll go on the other side of the page. I'll click and I'll do Command V to paste it. And you see it's right there. I'll place it there. Now I can basically select it and under paragraph formatting, change the placement of it, click on my move tool, zoom in, and again, bring it down on the very bottom of my line. Okay, it's too much, so let me bring it in just a little bit. There you go. Okay, so here are my page numbers. Okay, here's going to be one page number and the other one on the other side. Now, when I'm done, all I have to do is just double click on a page, any page, and that number is going to pop up on whatever page I'm clicked on. So let's test it. Finger crossed. Double click. Let's check the page number. There you go. Page number 2. Let's scroll. Page number 4. Page number 6, and so on. Did that make sense? So you see, all page numbers are arranged and placed there automatically. Now, sometimes, depends on what you're working for. If you're working on something creative, maybe like a brochure, and you'd like to have the name of that brochure as well, you do exactly the same thing. So let me double click on the A master again, zoom in, and I'm going to click on another type tool. Well, actually, I don't. I have to use that same one. So let me click on this there, bring it in, and let me type winter morning, for instance. I don't know. Okay, let me select this, change the font style for it. Okay, this is too thick. Let's do just Times and see what Times is going to look like. Sure, that looks fine. I'm going to select it here, Command X, whoops, Command C, Command Z, Command C. I'm just gonna copy it, go to the other corner, other side, click right here, enlarge this. I'll do Command V. Okay, there it goes. Winter morning. Now I would have to arrange it. Okay, so it looks like I might need I should have done it in there. Now I'm gonna have a problem with it. So let me move this out of the way. Okay, I will have a problem with it. I'll show to you in a minute what the problem is gonna be. It's not gonna look consistent. Okay, here it is. Let me select it, Command A. Let me move it back on the other side and I'll do morning. What did I do? Winter morning, right? Winter morning. I'll select this and I'll change it to times. I think that's what the font style that we applied was. Then I'm gonna click on this arrow and I'll actually move it manually this time to make sure I'm not gonna have any issues with it. Okay, there it goes. I'm going to apply it there. Use your arrows. Anytime I need to just drag it slowly, I'm using my arrows and not the cursor. Okay, place it. Double click on any page. And there you go. Do you see? 2 winter morning, 4 winter morning, and so on. So anytime you want to also apply the title maybe of your book or brochure or anything you're working on, that would be an option to do. Now you can be creative about it. Maybe place a bar between the two or a little line or maybe a little dot. Make it italicized, however you would like, but this is basically the steps of doing it. Now let's go to page 1. This is what I wanted to show you. You see, I have one on page 1 as well. So what do I do with it? Because page 1 does not need a page number and a title number like that, a title name like that. So anytime you want to cover anything on a page that you inserted or applied with an A master, you would go to this none option right there. You see the none applied. You would click, drag, and place it on the page that you want to hide any type of special character symbol that you have just inserted. Do you see that? So now it's gone. If I need to apply it on page 2, I would do exactly the same thing, and you see it's not there. And then it just starts with page 3. You will start with the page number. Sometimes you can actually give what page you want it to start on, which I'll show to you throughout the semester. But basically, that's what you're doing to insert page numbers. Should I show that again? Did that make sense? Let me go to my A master. Let me get rid of it and I'll show to you again, just to make sure you guys, okay? So I'll delete it. Remember, double click on the A master first. Click on the type tool next. Draw a box. Then you would do type, insert special character, and you will scroll to markers. And then you would do current page number. You would click on it and then you do your changes, whatever it needs to be done. Select it, Command C, place it on the other side, Command V, place it in the corner there where it needs to go. I'm not gonna spend the time to do that now, and you're done. Double click on any page within your document and you see how your page numbers are there. Did that work out for you? I'm curious. Were you able to follow along?
Yes.
Yes.
Any problems? Did it work out for you? Turn out all right?
So the A master, can you just show how you got to that one more time? You just go to pages, right?
I just go to pages and it pops right there above my pages. Yes. So let me get rid of my pages. Really? Let me just get rid of my pages. Okay, they're under Windows. So you see right now, I only see my application frame with my control panel options and my tools, nothing else. I don't see my layers, my pages, nothing else. Anything that I need to work on and find, it's under window. Remember, click on window and scroll down to pages. Click on pages and you see it pops up and it gives you those pages setup that you're using for the document. So whichever number of pages you have, and then it gives you the none option that can cover an A master in a way, where yes, that's what it does. And then the A master that allows you to insert any type of special character. Okay. Did that make sense, Kaylee?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show to you today, which a couple of you sent me an email this week whenever you were trying to work on your projects, and I thought I will show that to you, is how to make sure my pullout quote looks proportionate or looks balanced within the text. Okay, so let's try to do that. Let's click on the type tool. Let's draw a box, assuming this is our body copy. Right click, excuse me, fill with placeholder text. Let's arrange this text in columns. Command A, object, text frame options, 3 columns, hit OK. And then I'm going to click on my paragraph formatting style, and I'll arrange it with justify with last line aligned left. Select it, click on the arrow there and bring it up just a little bit to make sure I have a perfect box. Okay, I guess that's where my perfect box is going to be. So this is the first thing you do. Take care of your body copy, obviously, insert indentation, spacing, whatever you guys need to do. So let's just insert indentation for now. Here it is. Click on the indent. I don't know what's my font size. It's 12. Okay, so let's click 12 PT right there, hit return, and there's my indentation. Next thing that you would do, again, click on your type tool, draw a box that will contain your pullout quote. Okay, so I'm going to do right click, fill with placeholder text. I'll delete probably half of this text, and then I'll enlarge the size of this one to make it look like a pullout quote even more. Okay. There you go. So let me enlarge it just a tiny bit. Okay. Then what I'm going to do next is I'll click on my move tool, click, drag, and let go and place it right in the middle. And then I'll adjust my box a little bit to place it perfect in the middle there. You can play with it. Basically, the steps are the same. So what are you doing next? You're like, okay, place my pullout quote, but it's on the top of my body copy. Remember, anytime you're working with body copy and then text on the top of the text and you need it to wrap, you simply do the same wrap method that we did with objects. Okay, exactly the same steps. First thing you have to consider or remember is make sure you're clicked on the object that you want text to wrap around. Do not click on your body copy. Click on the pullout quote. Okay, click on the frame that contains the pullout quote. That's important. After you do that, obviously you would go to Window, scroll down to Text Wrap, and here you would need the second option. Why? Because you want this text or the body copy text to be wrapped around the bounding box proportionally. So I'm going to click on it and look what happened. You see, it's already text, the body copy text went away. Now, there are some things for you to consider here. So one of you, at least one of you in particular, asked me, how do I make the pullout quote be placed perfectly in the middle? Play with it a little bit. That's all you got to do. Double click on it. Okay, so I'm going to select my body, my pullout quote, and I'll center it. And then I can go to my object, text frame options, and I can center it within the box, which is what I showed you last time. So you see, I centered it both from the sides and also placed it within the box. Now, in terms of my wrap, another detail I can do, you see, I'm still clicked on my wrap. Anytime this make all settings the same is selected or is linked, all the options are linked together. So any change I would make to one, either the top, the bottom, left or right, they will all move in together. What I would suggest to you is either unselect it and only move it away from whatever corner you needed to move it away, or you can move it proportionally away from all the edges at once. I think basically now mine would look all right. Let me hit W and you tell me, does that look all right as a pullout quote? It's got enough spacing. I mean, it needs work, but these are the general guidelines that you will follow to make sure it's still a box within the box. You're following that modular design and everything looks just clean inside it and proportionate, balanced. Okay. Did that did that make sense? Okay, so this was the second thing I wanted to show you in terms of pullout quotes. What was the third one I promised to show? I think how to create gradient colors, right? So let me start with drawing a rectangle, for instance. I'm gonna click on my rectangle tool, click, drag, let go. Here's my rectangle. And then I want to fill it with a gradient color. So you see, I need to find my gradient swatch tool. Click on it, click, drag, hold your finger on the cursor and let go. And when you do, you see how my gradient is applied inside this box, inside the frame that I designed. Well, now the big problem is, man, you're wondering, how in the world would I create new colors? So what am I doing? How to find those new colors? So this is where I think most students struggle with. Basically, all you got to remember is that your gradient color is a combination of colors, and all you got to do is just find new colors that you're wanting to fill the gradient box with and then apply them onto your document. So I'm going to click on this option right there, and when you scroll down, you see you don't see the gradient, and you're like, okay, it's not there. What do I do? Let me double click on my gradient from my gradient tools there, and when I double click there, bring your cursor on the top of the gradient swatch, hit right click and say add to swatches. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to add my gradient to my swatches, and when you scroll down, you see now I have it as part of my swatches. It's right there under my color palette. After it's there, I can play with it and do whatever I want with it, okay? So I'm just going to double click on that, and here it is. Double click on the one color, select it, click on the other one, play with it and select whichever color you need, whichever style of color or font class, select it, hit OK, and there it goes. Do you see now you have a new swatch, a new gradient in your swatch menu? Also, under the gradient color, under the type style, right now I'm using a linear. You can use a radial. The radial is more like a circle. Basically, this is what I used for English with Val and Kate. For the book that I did the layout, I did a combination of white and blue, and that kind of stayed consistent with the banner or with the logo of the book. Give me a second. Let me see if I have it here on my screen, and I'll share a copy with you to see how I combine the gradient colors. I don't know if I have it. Let me see. Okay, it's not here. I'll show that to you in a second. I have my hard drive right here next to me, so I'll find it on my hard drive and I'll be back to show that to you. Now, if I need to create a new gradient color, all I gotta do, remember, is the same technique. Click on the gradient color, do new swatch, and you see how I have a duplication of that same color, exactly like we did with just general colors. Double click inside that box, select the color that you need. Again, you can select whichever shape of the color, play with it. Under type, you can leave it to linear. Swatches, we can do a CMYK if you're doing that for print. Let me click on the blue now, select a different shade. There it is. I have a combination of yellow and a little purple. Hit OK, and there it goes. Okay, so let me see if I find a copy of that book. Here it is. I want to show you just the color. I think this is it. Okay, so you see here's the gradients. You see the blue and the white inside. Honestly, when I did the initial layout, I only had one color in the background. I don't know why, but I have a tendency of always just sticking with one color because I don't want to confuse with having too much. And the moment I brought that white in, it literally looked like I brought more light to the page, and it looked so much better. So that's one detail for you to consider whenever you're working on layout or whatever details you need to work on. So this is, I think, the last thing I wanted to show you in terms of InDesign.